Hey Captains, this is Karandar. Today I'm going to review the Tier 7 Premium French battleship Strasbourg for you. If you enjoy this video, check out some of my other update and event guides. Give this video a like and hit the subscribe and bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Now this battleship is currently being awarded for completing the Strasbourg campaign in update 0912. She's also available in the armory for 9,800 doubloons and comes with a 6-point captain and a bonus experience mission. And if you do purchase her early and complete the Strasbourg campaign, you will be compensated 9,500 doubloons. So there is an opportunity in this update that some captains might want to take advantage of. Buying the Strasbourg early gives you full access to the second campaign that's running during this update, called Ships and Fates. In this campaign, it's a 6-mission campaign where you can earn up to 6 Tier 5 Tech Tree ships, and each come with Winter Holiday Permanent Camouflage, a 6-point Santa-themed commander, and 6 regular Santa crates. Now both of these campaigns run just 30 days, and we're already into that. But the Ships and Fates first mission requires that you have and play the Strasbourg to complete that first mission before gaining the first reward, and being able to progress into the 2nd through 6th mission trees. So particularly, if you already have the doubloons in your inventory, and you have the time to complete the Strasbourg campaign this month, it will make completing the Ships and Fates campaigns very simple compared to first having to complete the Strasbourg campaign, and then having barely 1 week to complete the Ships and Fates campaign, if that campaign is something that interests you. So I've played a half a dozen matches in the Strasbourg now, and I've definitely appreciated the fairly quick main battery reload. The turret traverse is fairly decent, and while their guns can be a little trolly, they are reasonably accurate. And this allows you to keep an eye around you and take advantage of enemies making mistakes to finish them off before they can get away. This match was my first this morning and quite early before my coffee kicked in, and you'll be able to tell as you watch through it. I chose it partially because I made plenty of mistakes, and this probably represents a more real game than just cherry picking a perfect match to show off. It's pretty chaotic here in the middle. If I have to describe her playstyle, she's certainly similar to his sister, the Tier 6 Dunkirk, as a fairly nimble bow-tanking style ship, but Strasbourg feels so much more comfortable to me than playing Dunkirk. She's quite nimble for her tier, with a high speed of 31 knots when you equip it with Sierra Mike signal flags, and a turning radius of just 730 meters. This combination is actually something you have to pay attention to around islands, because you do move and turn quite quickly. One thing I found, her AP rounds are very effective against cruisers and broadside battleships, and also with a 35% fire chance, you start a good number of fires on angled heavier battleships in most battles. And with both turrets up front, the turret traverse is respectable at 36 seconds. And again, I found I don't need expert marksman skill, especially in most battles that you begin and play much further back than this match. Being top tier here with the CV is quite favorable for me, and notice how long I'm using the central island to block most of the enemy from being able to shoot at me. Also, her secondary armament has a 5-kilometer range. This will be a non-factor for you in most games. For a Tier 7 battleship, Strasbourg has a decent gun range of 19.1 kilometers, plus an available spotter plane, so you can hang back and snipe, something you'll want to do when you're up-tiered or facing several high-explosive spammers. The spotter plane I use now exclusively. I tried a couple of battles with fighters, but honestly, against a skilled aircraft carrier captain, fighters are a non-factor, and the spotter just allows so many more options. The extra range, spotting better over islands, hitting targets that are in smoke, just way more effective. Also, the Strasbourg's main trick is the addition of 4 charges of main battery reload booster, which is similar to what you see on the higher tiered French battleships. And this boosts her 330mm main battery gun's reload of 25 seconds by 50%, so you can actually get 2 volleys off in the normal time of firing a single shot. Taking Superintendent raises this to 5 charges. And if you time the reload booster carefully, you can often punish a target giving you broadside with your AP, or with HE rounds to restart fires on an enemy battleship when you catch them repairing fires a little bit too early. The timing can take a little bit of practice, but the reload booster can really add to your damage output when used well. Now that I've talked up the good traits of the ship, let's get into some of her main weaknesses. Strasbourg has very thin 26mm armor covering almost all of the exterior, so you really want to avoid getting into situations where you're under fire from several HE spammers, and be sure to angle very well against bigger gunned battleships. Here I misjudged my cover from my right flank islands, and you can see the New Mexico gets a couple of very heavy hits on me. But you'll also notice, even though I'm poorly angled, there were no Citadel hits, and I have a lot of repairable damage. This did generate a bit of a panic response for me to get better angled, and of course I get stuck here. Another weakness of the ship is while she does have 6 kilometers of anti-aircraft range, her AA is one of the worst for a Tier 7 battleship in this game, and I mean seriously. She makes Scharnhorst look like an anti-aircraft monster, so running near a second ship with better AA in a CV battle, especially if it's a Tier 8 carrier, would be very wise. I'm very fortunate that their CV captain appears to be learning in this fight. Now, being in the middle like I am here is not something I recommend for this ship. This is actually not a great position if you don't have a lot of island cover. I have to watch the heavy guns of the Colorado behind me while trying to support my right flank. I finally get unstuck. It can help push towards this, trying to stay angled to the Colorado. Now I see there's torpedoes going, but it looks like they're going to miss. So I fire at the New Mexico to help finish her off.
We destroyed an enemy battleship.
And also, with the enemy Strasbourg pushing and showing me her broadside, this is an opportunity to use the main battery reload. So fire my main guns, hit my reload booster, and at the same time, one of my teammates hits her with a tremendous volley and lights her on fire. I could fire and finish her off here, but she's burning and she's going to burn out in seconds. That wouldn't be fair. I don't deserve the kill on that ship, so I let her burn out for my teammate. I wasted my reload booster, but that's okay. Another fairly big weakness on this ship is her detection. Her concealment is 14.8 kilometers, and this is not good at all. And you have to be thankful for the range this ship has. That's the way to counter it. Be sure to use this advantage and hang back a little early in each match, unless you have the terrain to limit the incoming fire on you. I've definitely found you're best to watch your early positioning, choose a flank to harass rather than the middle, and use your range. This keeps you protected from the big high caliber enemy ships of the higher tiers and also the HE spammers. Be patient, watch your positioning, and wait for opportunities to be able to push in. Again, she plays similar to Dunkirk, but far stronger in my opinion. And if you are comfortable in the Dunkirk, or are decent at managing positioning in a ship like the Nelson, and that ship is thin armor, then you'll probably be quite comfortable and fine playing the Strasbourg and enjoy her like I do. Against large caliber ships, when you're forced to face them, be careful to angle, trying to bounce those rounds off of your torpedo belt. If facing too straight on, your nose will just absorb the shells, and you also risk getting citadeled right through the nose. I'll throw up a screenshot at the end of this video just with the commander skills and the ship modules that are recommended, but just quickly. Wargaming recommends going full survival build to minimize fire duration. That's probably a really good idea. She eats a lot of damage from high explosive shells. For a 10-point commander, you want to take priority target, probably adrenaline rush, superintendent, and concealment. You might opt for expert marksman if you find that you play closer than I usually do, but I found her 36-second traverse is pretty decent, and you've seen that through this match here as well. Going with a 19-point captain, I add fire prevention, basics of survivability, and jack of all trades for faster consumable loading. And ship modules, main armaments 1 to protect the guns, damage control system 1 to reduce fire and flood chance, aiming system 1 to increase the accuracy, damage control 2 to reduce fire duration even further. Here I'm in a challenging situation backing up with the Colorado so close and the Shiratsuyu suddenly popping up. Messing up here, I could actually cost the team the game. If the enemy has the cap advantage and they would have map advantage if I get destroyed. Backing up, I know I have a little time against the Colorado and my CV's focusing her to help me. So the biggest threat to my team here is definitely the destroyer. My traverse is fast enough and I swing my guns to take the shot.
We sank an enemy destroyer.
Now with this build, fire duration is under 35 seconds, and the slightly quicker loading consumables all work to help keep you alive and fighting for longer. And of course, here was another example of maybe not the most ideal usage of the main battery reload booster, but with the destroyer so close, I couldn't take the chance. And I didn't light a fire on the Gneisenau, but did manage to get a shot off on her. Could have better aimed that one. And that shows how good the AP can be. Gneisenau is pretty heavily armored and no citadel, but still over 10,000 damage from a single volley. So, charging down a Gneisenau is not exactly my first choice in most games with the torpedoes she has, but I know I have to take this cap. There's enough time left here that we could actually still screw this up. Now, generally speaking, most ships that we earn for free in this game are somewhat underwhelming, and I'm probably being polite stating it that way. I actually find Strasbourg an enjoyable ship to play in most battles. Now, she's certainly not an overpowered ship by any means. She handles enemy AP rounds fairly well when angled properly, but requires careful and smart positioning because of her armor scheme. You end up playing her a lot of times more like a heavy cruiser, especially when you're up-tiered, and she really struggles against carriers and focused HE spam. So play to counter both of those situations best you can. You know, team up with another ship when you've got tier 8 carriers. Use your range and island cover and things like that to mitigate the incoming HE. You do that and she can hold her own quite comfortably. And the Gneisenau doesn't have much health. She got a heal off, unfortunately. But I'm not quite sure what she's doing here. I want to take the cap. It's extra XP, and that's always good. And at the same time, I also don't want to die. My carrier's pushing the B cap, so if I do something silly, suddenly Gneisenau kill me and the carrier. Take this cap or keep this cap, and it becomes a whole lot closer fight. So I'm just trying to be a little patient here, and getting the cap buys us more time, of course. So she was facing straight towards me, and I see the carrier sending fighters around to try and spot her for me. So I'm going to push forward a little bit, knowing that if I really have to, I can turn my ship very hard into the island to try and avoid torpedoes. Again, I see that Gneisenau is completely bow on, so I've got a very good opportunity. I've loaded HE because Gneisenau, especially from the front, my little shells are probably just going to bounce off doing next to nothing. So if I want any chance to sink her, it's got to be with HE. I've got a reload booster ready. I start turning real hard to get angled here so I don't take a nasty hit. Clip the island, of course. Double fire. Got my reload booster, the Gneisenau is angling. It's like, uh-oh, this is starting to look ugly. Get a really solid hit in. Managed to take just one torpedo, so. Managed to get a Kraken out of it. Decent amount of damage. I could have done better. I made a lot of mistakes in this match, but lots of fun. Top of the team. Next, I'll show here Wargaming's recommended skills and modules, and these are pretty good recommendations for the most part. You may want to adjust slightly depending on your playstyle. Here in port, we'll just quickly load up the armor, and if you'll note, everything, the bow, the stern, the deck, the side, it's all coated in 26 millimeters. And this is why you really have to be wary of high explosive spammers. I'll peel away the outer layers just to show you why she's more resistant to AP rounds, like why I didn't get punished quite as bad against that New Mexico. So a little bit is luck, but you can see here on the inside there's a nice heavy armor belt and a bit of a turtle back protecting that soft citadel, and that really helps your survivability provided you can angle enough and those shells don't come through your nose and hit the flat front. Well, I hope this video helps. Please leave your comments, like and subscribe, and until the next, good hunting.